Check out thechosenprime.com in the link in the description below for this and other great items.
Alright everyone, welcome to another RFC Reviews. I'm your host Diecast, and today we have Fans Toys FT-10 Phoenix, which is their take on a G1 Skyfire, which I absolutely love. Full disclosure, G1 Skyfire is my favorite character when I was a little kid. The only Transformers show I had on VHS was Fire in the Sky, so I watched that single episode of Transformers more than any other episode. So Skyfire was always a figure that I loved as a kid. So here he is, and this is not him in his normal robot mode. This is what I call shipping mode, because this is probably the only way that they're going to be able to ship him in a normal size box. I do have Fans Toys grinder box right here, and you can see if they shipped him like this, even the box would probably need to be a little bit bigger, but he would definitely just fit into that box. So that's why I call this shipping mode. One thing that third parties need to do, and I think Fans Toys does a pretty good job of it, is make the box as small as possible. We as collectors have way too many boxes hanging around, and some people just throw them out. I prefer not to throw out my third party boxes. It's not like a Hasbro box where I don't mind if I throw it out, but on something like this I want to keep the box. I want to keep it nice, especially if you want to resell the figure, which I personally don't normally do, but a lot of people out there, do resell their figures, so you want to keep the box so it helps the resale value. And then this is pretty much Skyfire, or Skyfire's mode, robot mode. All we have to do is extend the arms. Then when you curl the arms out, there is this little panel that will come out right here to make the top of his arm. Just like that. Open up his hand. Open up his wrist, flip out his hand. Same thing on this side. One of the other reasons I did it this way is I always go from how it is in the box, whatever mode it is in the box, to how you want it. And this one I kind of expanded a little bit to how I think it should come in the box, since we really don't know. And then open up this crotch piece. I'm just going to lower these legs down just like that. Make sure these clip in. And these legs will have to pull down a little bit so you have full clearance. And they click in right there. And we'll extend this leg also. Close his crotch back up. And there you have Skyfire in his regular robot mode, which is very hard to get on camera just because he's so big. Even if I back him all the way up, you can see he's very hard to fit onto the screen. He just makes it right there. So let's go ahead and we'll do a couple size comparisons real quick just to get those out of the way. Here he is with the new Netflix Voltron. Here he is with Titans Return Voyager Optimus Prime, and also the MPP-10 mold. This, of course, is Ultra Magnus, but I don't know where my MPP-10 Optimus Prime is, so that's just a comparison to those guys. Here he is with Year of the Something Omega Supreme with the Make Toys Armageddon add-on kit for him. And also here he is with the Takara Generations Leader Jetfire. Here he is with the Make Toys Despotron, which is a masterpiece take on Megatron. Here he is with Thrust, which is one of the Toy World jets, which actually is a little bit bigger than Starscream. Here he is with Fans Toys Sovereign. Here he is with the Generation Toys Devastator. I don't even know. I forget it. Gravity Builder. Doop. There you go. Here he is with Fans Toys Grinder, Fans Toys Willis, and Bad Cubes Grump. Here he is with Takara's Fortress Maximus, which I can't fit all in the screen. And just so no one gets upset, there he is with Starscream. And here he is with Combiner Wars Superion. Alright, so now we did all the comparisons. Hopefully there was enough for you. Let's take a quick look at his accessories. This is the gun he comes with. It is just plain black plastic. But there's no holes, so it looks nice, and it definitely is cartoon accurate. So, really nice gun. He also does come with two little chest pieces. That way you can put an Autobot symbol on one and a Decepticon symbol on the other, just like Fire in the Sky. I unfortunately did not receive, because this is a test shot, I did not receive the other chest emblem. Again, I want to thank the Chosen Prime for shooting this out to me, to be able to take a look at it. Everyone knows by now this is my favorite of all time character, and I couldn't wait to get my hands on this, and this is not a disappointment at all. I'm absolutely in love with it. If you follow me on Twitter, I have a lot more photos of it, and I took it to work today. That's how much I like it, which is saying something. You can also put him on a display stand in flight mode. This is Sovereign's flight stand. So all you would have to do is undo this screw right here, stick the new piece on that I don't have, but I know it comes with. That way you could use Sovereign's flight stand for Phoenix, and you could also use Swoops. But me personally, Sovereign doesn't need a flight stand, so it's probably going to go to him. Swoop does. I like having the flight stand with him, so he'll keep his flight stand. And then, trying to think if I'm missing any other accessories. He does come with some translucent eyes if you want to do the light piping, which I did not get. And I think that's it for accessories. Hopefully I'm not missing anything. I might think about it in the review. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at this guy from top to bottom. Let's raise this up a little bit. There you can see wonderful head sculpt. His head can look up and down just enough. I think it's the perfect amount down, because if he looks down too far, he won't see past his big old chest. The back does have light piping in it. That way it's already ready for the light piping eyes. You have lots of nice details on these. A lot of people were thinking that these were screw holes, and they're not. They're actually detail. You get these nice gray details all over the place. Get his vents here. Get the blue, the clear blue or the see-through blue plastic here with the chrome on the inside. And you can actually open this up. There you go. And that way you can show off the two little seats there. I don't think there's anyone that I have that's actually small enough to fit in there, but it does open up if you want to. Nice waist with the red, the clear red plastic, which is absolutely awesome. It just looks so good. And then the red stripe up here, which I forgot as we're moving down the figure. You do have these darker red metallic spots on the legs, which I originally hated. Absolutely hated. But in hand, it's not bad at all. Because it's so far down from where the other red is on the figure that it doesn't stick out like I thought it would. I think I would have preferred it red like the backpack, but if this is the way it's going to be, it's not a deal breaker for me. This figure is so well built that, I mean, being disappointed with another Skyfire figure that we've had in the past and then getting this in hand, this is just leaps and bounds above that figure, and I'm so happy to have it in hand, even though I have to send this back and then I have to wait for the actual release. But I will be eagerly anticipating that actual release. You do get some nice gray details on the inside of the leg. And then come up to the side of the figure. Again, you have that red on the leg. You do get some gray detail on the side of the arm, a little red detail right there, and of course the backpack, where you have another blue, clear blue windshield with some silver in there. You get some gray, darker gray details on here, and of course the red on the wings, the red on the backpack, which is actually red paint, red plastic with the white painted. The paint on this is absolutely perfect. You get a little red around the thrusters on top with the gray detailing. One minor nitpick, and every nitpick I'm going to have on this figure is going to be minor, because in my eyes this is such an amazing figure. But these pieces can't fold in on themselves. They just pop off. You can pop them off and switch them. But what I wish they would have did is had a swivel right here. That way you could swivel them around. That way they could collapse on themselves. But honestly, you can't even see that from the front if you just put them flat. So obviously not a deal breaker, but just something I would have liked to see. And it is a very minor nitpick. I feel like with fans' toys, we have to nitpick it just because a lot of the times they're so perfect right out of the gate. Hopefully I didn't miss any paint details. Other than his head, you got the blue here with the clear translucent piece and some silver plastic underneath. You get the gray on the side, the darker gray around the face, and then a light gray face. So absolutely looks amazing. Articulation, he's got nice clickety arms. They can do a full, and they ratchet forward and back. They can do a full 360 if you want. These little shoulder pieces here, you can angle them to here or anywhere in between. But I like the fact that they are able to move with the figure. The other thing that's not as bad in person is these screws and the screw holes. I thought I would mind them a lot more than I do, and I don't. They're really not as bad as I thought. They just stick out on video because of the white. You do get a nice 90 degree, or more than 90 degree bend at the arm. The way this piece works is it kind of hides inside right there when you go to bend the arm, and then when you bring it back out, it'll pop back out, which is really nice. Do have a swivel. This one Actually, this one won't swivel. But, yeah, I don't want to break it. But this one will. So, again, this is a test shot, so there are some things that they're probably still working out. The hand, you have a nice ball joint on the hand, so you get a wide range of motion on the hand. Well, really, you can go up to about that point, but it can't go in any further. The thumb is on 2 joints, or 3, depending if you count the peg and the ball joint. You can get a nice spread on the fingers. Which is really, really nice. Obviously, wrists go all the way around because they're on that ball peg. And then the waist, what people are doing, or what they say to do, if you want a little bit of waist articulation, you gotta unpeg the leg, the top of the legs, which is really more like his waist. And then you can get a little bit of waist rotation. Honestly, this is one where the juice really isn't worth the squeeze to do all that. But you can, if you want, to give him a little bit of waist articulation. I don't mind that he doesn't have waist articulation. I don't think he needs it. I'm perfectly happy with this figure without the waist articulation. But I know some people, you know, it may be a deal breaker, and that's okay. On the legs, you got this skirt on the side that can come out all the way. He can go forward that much. He can go back that much, which is basically 1 click. Maybe 2. Yeah, 2 clicks. His backpack does kind of get in the way a little bit. But if you go 1 click, you can get his leg up a lot further. Perfectly fine. You got the swivel right here. He can go out only about that far. So, again, this is a big figure, so... And he can go forward that much, which I think I did, but he can get a full 90 degrees at the knee. And not only does he rotate at the upper part of the thigh, he rotates right at the knee too. So there you have that. His feet can rotate. They can go backwards and forwards. If you open this up, this panel right here, you can even get more forward. Honestly, I like to keep that panel closed up. It's just how I prefer it. And there you have, hopefully, all of his articulation. The other minor nitpick is I wish this was magnetic and that somehow you could have flipped this piece around and it be one piece and have both, you could put both emblems on it. But again, that's also a very minor nitpick. And just so you can see, his gun can slot into his hand. Get his thumb out of the way. Just like that. And then you can, if you want to get his first finger into that hole right there, so he's holding the trigger of his gun due to that nice spread. And just to see how that looks from the inside. And this thumb could even come up and go around. So yeah, really nice pose holding that gun. a really nice job with that hand holding the gun. And then if you want to, you can have the other hand here kind of supporting the barrel. But you can see you can do a lot of nice poses with the gun. Now let's go ahead and get into transformation on this guy. First thing we want to do, we'll do some cleanup work. Fold up his hands, open up the bottom panel on his arm, and just flip that around and close it up. I'm going to stand up for this just a little bit easier. We'll do the same thing on this side. I like that you don't have to fight to get the hands in because the area is so big. Then we're going to come back to the backpack. We're going to pull this back. It helps if you try and unlatch the head and the backpack at the same time. Then they will separate just like that. And then what you want to do is you want to rotate his head around so it's facing backwards. And then before we do anything with his head, we're just going to open up these top two flaps. Just like that. Bring them around to the back. And we're going to pull out these chest pieces. Just like so, and we'll just leave them alone for now. And then we're going to take this, the center of his chest, and just get that out of the way also. Now you can come around to the back, and his head is going to go through that hole right there. And this is a little bit of a tight clearance. So you just want to be careful and take your time. That way you're not scratching any paint off of his head. And we'll come up to the arms real quick. The arms, you want to make sure that this square piece is in. And then straighten out the arms. And then you want... Oh. That's why it wasn't rotating. It wasn't pulled out all the way. That wasn't the toy. That was me. Then you're going to make sure that you collapse the arm. Just like that. And again, doing this on camera. So forgive me for the parts falling. Same thing on that, and then we're going to rotate these arms, which you'll see this panel on the side, and it just rotates in. And do the same thing with the other arm, and rotate that in. And then this top panel, right up here, which you can't see, this top panel right up here is going to clip into his arms after you get this panel out of the way. This panel you have to pull down and just push through to the other side. And now this panel will tab in. Just like that. And then these chest pieces you can bring out to the side and push them in. Just like that, and you can see it'll be, these metal rails will be right above his head, and then you can flip these two little pieces in, just like so. And now that you've done that, we'll come back up to the top again. We're going to take this top panel, and before you lock this in, you want to make sure. Again, we're going to have to try and get the camera raised a little bit more. So we're at the top of the figure. This panel up here, you want to make sure you get this metal piece out. And then one way to do that is just push that wheel through, and then you'll have an easier job grabbing this metal piece, and you can extend that out. Then also you want to take out the nose by just rotating that around. And then this panel right here will close up. Just like so. And then this panel right here will snap in to the what were the arms. And that all snaps in like that. You can close up the wheel if you want for now. And now he is getting a little top heavy just because I extended all this stuff out. And then you can open up the crotch piece, just like so, which locks these legs in down here. Then you can untab the legs, or the top of his waist, and then they will go up. And then that tab that was on the outside right there now goes into that hole, the lower hole, just like that. Do the same thing on this side. Pop that out, bring that up, and now we can bring this metal piece down, and it is supposed to tab in, but it doesn't tab in very well. It will just naturally slide out, but this crotch piece does hold it in place so that it doesn't come all the way out. And then now all we have to do is come back to the backpack. This one panel that we flipped up and around, we can close that up. And then you also want to take this piece off, and it will slide down just like that, get it out of the way. And then you can open up this backpack section and then close this back up. And now it pegs into the inner holes as opposed to the outer holes when it's in robot mode. Then this whole backpack comes up, or comes down, and it'll tab in right there on each side. And now we'll come back to the legs. And yes, this is a little bit of a workout trying to do it on camera, but such a fun figure. On the back of the legs, there's a little metal push tab. You just push that in, and that'll help collapse the legs. And then there's two tabs right on each side. You just want to make sure that they go in, and everything will tab in just like that. Same thing on this side. Bring those up and make sure they're tabbed in. And now all we have to do is come down to the feet. We're going to open up these panels right here. Close up the toe. Roll this up into the heel. Open up this panel, and then the foot just rotates up. And then you can close that panel up as well. Nice silver detail, or gray detail right there also. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. So I'll do the same thing. Roll the foot up. And again, you want to make sure this one's kind of caught on its heel. toe up, rotate the foot in, close up those panels. And now to make this a little bit easier, we're going to flip out the wheels, which these panels open up like that. You can work the wheels out. And same thing on the front. And there you have the wheels for Jetfire, and I do see one of his legs came untabbed. So I'll just tab that back in. And now the only thing you have left to do is you can flip out these wings. They push in to lock everything in. And you can fold the wings back. And before you fold them all the way back, you want to flip out the wing extensions, which also can double as the flaps. If you want to have poses where he's flaps down, going for a landing, you can do that. Do the same thing on this side. Flip that down. Flip out that flap. And flip that one out. Now on this test copy, a lot of people have handled it already. This wing was a little loose, but I did take a screwdriver and tighten up some of the screws on the bottom, and that did fix the problem there. You can see there's a bunch of screws along the bottom here of the wing. Really like how this cleans up. It just looks really nice in the airplane mode. There's not a lot of robot parts to be seen. I mean, of course, these are legs, but landing gear is really nice. It rolls very well. Paint's super clean. And just looks absolutely amazing. So, again, flip up these wings. And then, let's try and get something in here to do a comparison shot with. So here's a couple comparisons. Here he is with Toy World's, I forget his name, Ramjet, and you can see he does roll underneath Jetfire's wing rather easily. And here he is with a deluxe Titan's Return Blur, and also he can almost fit underneath of Jetfire or Skyfire. Almost. So if you want to see more comparison shots, I do have more comparison shots on my Twitter, which is at diecast2, or on Facebook at Reviews by Diecast. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Brandon at the Chosen Prime, for sending this out to me. And thanks, Fans Toys, for letting me see this. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time.